videoing before I was ready. But anyway, I have my GPS on, so I do not know if it's going to record on the video. It probably will. So we'll try to get this done quickly so that you don't have to listen to my GPS. So I just want to say hello. It's been a little bit since I've put out a video, a couple weeks.
Take the next right onto US 67 North.
Since I have been gone from YouTube, I've been to Mexico, and I will tell you first about my trip to Mexico, and I'll tell you about my first date in decades, how that went afterwards.
Continue on US 67 North for 38 miles.
Right, 38 miles before my GPS bugs me again, so hopefully we can get this done in 38 miles. Hello, who's ever tuning in, whoever you are, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you can hear me. Let me turn my volume up. I hope you can hear me. Maybe I'll do this a little closer. But, so went to Mexico last week, and that was an adventure. As some of you who are looking at, my posts, it was an adventure because Sunday night I'm packing, getting ready to go to Mexico or San Diego the next day. And lo and behold, I go to the place where I keep my passport, and guess what's not there? My passport. What the heck is going on? Why is my passport not here? It should be here, but it wasn't. So I was, first of all, a little bit freaked out, but second of all, very glad that I always book an extra day in San Diego when I go to Mexico just to hang out and have fun. Well, that's the day that I had to go and get my new passport. You can get emergency passports for those who don't know. You have to show proof of proof of an itinerary, and you have to have your, birth certificate, which, by the way, not only did I forget my passport, and even though I brought my birth certificate with me to San Diego, I left it at the hotel. So I did not have my birth certificate with me when I went to go get my new passport, but thankfully they took my Costco card. Can you believe that? My Costco card had a picture of myself on it, so they took that as another form of ID, and I didn't have to go back to the hotel and get my passport. So, crazy. I wouldn't have thought that. I haven't updated my Costco card in years, but it had a picture of me on it, so they allowed me to use that. So, just so you know, you ever lose your passport and need to get one like right away, go into a passport agency, bring your birth certificate, bring your your ID, show proof that you need to travel within 2 weeks, and you can get a passport same day. $60 more than normal, but you can still do it. So that got done. Went to Mexico, and really just the bottom line is they increased my tonic. They put me on some different medications. They increased some of my other medications, which they're not medications. They did put me on Finbin. For a lot of people that have been telling me about Finbin and ivermectin lately, I had been thinking about getting on those, but just didn't know the right way to do it, so I just haven't done it. But they put me on Finbin, which I think is wonderful. They said next time around, if they need to, they'll put me on ivermectin, but they also put me on Laetrile, which I'm excited about because I really feel like Laetrile has, I love it when people like get in front of you and slow down. But I feel like Laetrile is a good thing for me to be on. It's the apricot kernels, but it's in pill form, they say. And the apricot kernels, you can't necessarily know what dosage you're getting, so they put it in pill form so that you can get a constant right dose every time. So I'm excited about that. And they did say that if we don't start seeing good results by the next time I come, then they're gonna really want me to come there and stay a week and do intravenous stuff, which I don't want to do because it's a lot of money and whatever. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I really like. Oh, sorry, Pam. I see. Hello. Good afternoon. Hope all is well. Thanks, Pam. I know you have written to me, and I just been. Except for the date that I went on, which should make me even more antisocial. But I apologize for those who have responded to me and reached out to me and I haven't. I've just been kind of I don't know, I just haven't felt like being social, and I apologize for that. But thank you so much, Pam, for watching. Thank you for reaching out, and the others who have reached out. I am doing well. I still feel good. My tumors, I just had a CAT scan on yesterday, and my tumors are still growing. They're still getting bigger, but they're not spreading to other parts of my body, which I'm still thankful for, because I was a little afraid that maybe I'd find out that it's spread somewhere, but it hasn't. So good, at least not in my abdomen. So, we're still keeping it contained. We just got to get these tumors to shrink, and they're not shrinking. They're getting bigger. If they could just stay the same size, that would be fine. But, the crazy thing is my liver is still working beautifully, which is why they put me on Laetrile, because Laetrile, the reason why they didn't put me on Laetrile the first time is because they were afraid it would harm my liver, but they said, your liver's working great. We're going to go ahead and put you on Laetrile and just monitor you and see how you're doing. Now, the problem is also my thyroid has kind of quit working properly, and they think it's because of the iodine in the tonic, so they've given me a tonic that has less iodine, and they've given me a thyroid medication, not a medication, but it's a supplement to take to get my thyroid working again, which, yeah, I need that. Thank you very much. So, because they said my thyroid was fine last time, but now it's not, so they think it's because of the iodine in the tonic. So that, everything's still kind of like it was. Yeah, the tumors are getting bigger, but I still feel fine. I'm still, I feel normal. And so my CEA, I haven't, that went up a little bit last time. The marker that they look for went up a lot. That was a little scary to see that number. I don't remember what it's called. Something like an I9 or IP9, or I don't remember what it's called. But it's another marker that's more specific for this type of cancer that I have. And when I went last time in August, the number was like 1900 and something. Normal is between 1 and 37. My numbers this time were like 7,900. That's a little scary. So they said, they're going to see what happens this time. Hopefully we can make some progress with this more aggressive treatment and get those numbers down. And they say if not, though, then they really, really want me to come and spend a week there to get some intravenous treatment. So we'll see what happens in 6 months. Now, on to the big topic of the day. Let me tell you about my date that I went on. So let me tell you that this date shouldn't have even really happened, because normally when I go through my matches on, it's Facebook dating, it's free, so that's what I do. And I usually don't even match on people that, don't say they're Christian or something like that. But this one day I went through and I was like, what, screw it. I'm just going to, match on everybody who liked me. And nobody ever talks on here anyway. It doesn't matter if I match them or not. They're never going to reach out to me. So I just liked everybody just to get them cleared out. And then immediately one of the guys actually responded. And I was like, oh, well, what do you know? Someone's actually responding? That's crazy. And not only did he just actually respond, he actually was engaging in a normal conversation. It wasn't like some, thing I had to draw out of him. I didn't have to do all the work. It was just normal and natural and flowed well. And I was really, really kind of happy about that. It was pretty cool. And it was this man that I could tell was not American. He was either Indian or Sri Lankan. And at the time, of course, I didn't know. But he was very handsome, and he seemed legitimate, so I just, just the conversation didn't seem catfishery. Catfishers usually have a way they talk, and this wasn't like that at all. So we continued to talk, we continued to, just have normal, easy flowing conversation. Eventually, after like the first day or so, we exchanged phone numbers, and I got his phone number, found out because of his phone number that he actually was who he said he was. And I was like, okay, even better. And so this is the part where things start getting a little confusing. So, he wanted me to send more pictures of myself, so I did. And, I wanted to be as accurate as possible. I wanted to send him pictures of me without makeup. Well, actually, at first I didn't want to. But I was like, well, this guy's got to know what I look like without makeup. So let's see if I can find something worthwhile to send him. If I could send him a picture of me without makeup, that wouldn't scare him away. So I finally managed to take one that I thought, well, that's not too terrible. And so all the pictures I sent him, he responded positively. He said, you look good, you're pretty or whatever. And I was like, well, okay, if you say so. And so, I wasn't worried about the physical part being an issue between me and him. I knew I was attracted to him. And I hope I didn't lose signal. So a couple guys jumped out and then jumped back on. So, but anyway, so I wasn't too worried about the physical part being an issue, because I continued to send him more pictures of me in that day, whether I had, how much makeup on I had or not. And the conversation still went good. We talked while I was in Mexico. Now, the talking did kind of decrease while I was in Mexico, and I was like, I wonder what's going on here. But he did tell me that he was a little nervous to be talking to me while I had my son there with me. And he just said, I feel uncomfortable talking to you when you have your son there. I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense, fine. So I get back from Mexico, and we plan to go out on a Friday. And he told me that we can't do Friday. Something came up with work. We couldn't meet, but can we meet Saturday? And I said, okay. So Friday night, he had like a housewarming party to go to. And, he wasn't really talking very much. And I didn't expect to hear from him Friday night, and I didn't. And so Saturday morning, I messaged him, and I said, hey, let me know if we're still on for today. Because you never know. People don't show up. People cancel. People, whatever. I didn't want to drive an hour and a half because we live kind of far, a couple hours from each other. And we were going to try to meet in the middle. So I didn't want to drive an hour and a half for him not show up. So I was like, are we still on for today? And he said, yeah, I'll be there at 11. Great. So I get there, and I wait in the parking lot, wait to hear from him. Because I want to, make sure he's even there before I go walking around. We decided to meet at a bookstore that had a coffee shop in it. And he messages me. He's like, where are you? I said, I'm in the parking lot. He says, well, I'm inside. I'm like, okay, well, I'll come on inside. So I walk inside, and I walk through the doors. And as soon as I walk through the doors, you can tell when someone's in, looking forward to seeing, is happy to see you. And he did not seem happy. I was like, what the heck? It's like, do I really look so awful in person? I didn't feel like I sent him misleading photos of me. I felt like I wasn't concerned about the physical aspect of it because he had a positive response to all my photos. So he was, the first 30, 45 minutes, he didn't even make eye contact with me. And I was like, okay, at this point, I don't even care anymore. I was just like, whatever, I'm here, I'm going to have a good time. He did pay for my coffee. I appreciated that. I was like, I like this person, and I know he likes me, at least as a person, because we've had really great conversations over the phone, hour-long conversations. We enjoy talking to each other. So just, I'm going to relax. I'm going to enjoy this date. I don't care if he likes me or not anymore. I'm just going to have a good time. And then probably about 30, 45 minutes into it, he just visibly relaxed. His shoulders just relaxed, and he turned towards me and then started making eye contact. And then everything went really great after that. We were talking, laughing. We had a disagreement about a social issue, and I just didn't even worry about that. I was like, whatever, you believe what you want to. I don't believe that way. And we even had a little joke about it. And then he's like, well, would you like to get some lunch? And I'm like, really? I didn't say that, but in my head, I'm like, really? Okay, absolutely, I'd like to get some lunch. And because I liked him. He's a handsome man. There's a lot of great things about him. I enjoy talking to him. So I was like, yeah, let's go get some lunch. So we went to this little place and sat down at this first table. And he's like, well, this away. Like the table was angled to where we were too far away from each other. And he's like, let's sit over there. I'm sitting there thinking, this is good. Okay. So we sit at a more cozy table and we talk and just have a really good time, just having great conversation. And he's definitely much more relaxed, making decent eye contact. And I don't know, we finished with lunch and I expected that to be it. You know, he said he had to go play badminton with some friends at like 3:30, and it was like 2. And so we get back to the mall and he's like, well, would you like to go in the mall? And I was like, well, I thought you said you had to go play badminton. And he's like, well, I've got about 20 or 30 minutes, you know, left before I have to go. I was like, so in my head, I'm sitting here thinking, what's going on? I'm like, clearly, you know, in the beginning, he was very unimpressed with my appearance to the point to where he wouldn't even make eye contact with me. And then he asked me to go to lunch. He paid for lunch, which I appreciate. He didn't have to. I would have paid, or at least for mine. And now he's wanting to spend more time with me in the mall. So I'm really confused by the whole thing. You know, when I first walked in, he gave me like this half side hug. And then when we left, though, he walked me out to my car and he gave me a full-on hug. And I was like,
There's a stalled vehicle ahead.
okay. I don't know if you heard that. There's a stalled vehicle ahead. But anyway, so, you know, and then that rest of the day I didn't really hear from him. I messaged him later and said thanks for lunch and paying for lunch and coffee. I really enjoyed meeting you. And he said, well, I really enjoyed meeting you too, and you're very welcome. And I was like, but I need to know, you know, I get the impression that you're not attracted to me. And he said, well, you know, this is the part that I hate. I just don't think you and I are going to have a connection enough for a relationship. I would really like to maintain a friendship with you. You know, you're probably one of the nicest people I've ever met. And I'd really like for us to be friends. And I'm just like, I don't know about that. You know, you're somebody I am attracted to you. And I don't really know that I want to just be friends with somebody that I have an attraction to, especially once you start seeing somebody else. And he said, well, you know, let's give it a shot and see how it goes. I'm like, well, then you're just going to have to take the lead on that. And he said, I will. And it's been, today's like the 3rd day since then. I haven't heard from him since. So first day after, I was, you know, pretty upset. It's kind of hard to, you know, the first day I was pretty hard on myself, thinking, well, I guess I'm just too ugly to get in a relationship with anybody. You know, being in a 25-year abusive relationship has taken its toll on my appearance, apparently. So, and that's how I was the first day. But the next day I was like, you know what? If we had some really good conversations, we really connected on an emotional and a mental, intellectual level. And if he's going to be like turned off just by his first appearance, my first appearance, that's kind of shallow, you know? I think if the tables were turned and I met a guy and maybe he wasn't everything I wanted physically, but I knew that we had a really good intellectual and emotional connection, I would give that a little more of a chance before I wrote him off. But it's possible that there's something else that he's not telling me, because I am a Christian, and I told him, I was like, I'm a Christian, and I go to church, and, well, haven't been going to church lately because I haven't found one yet, but and I was like, and that's important to me. And so we had that discussion, and he was okay with all that, even open to going to church with me. And so I don't know what the deal was. I think there was more than just the physical. I think there was something else, and it's possible that he was dating another girl and he just liked her better, which is fine. It's okay. He's allowed to do that, and it's okay. And I kind of wish he would have just said that if that was the case. You know, hey, I'm also seeing this other girl, and you know, I just think she and I are going to be more connected than you and I are. All right, I get that. I'm mature enough to handle that. But I would prefer that answer than to just kind of leave things kind of vague. So anyway, it was a nice date. Even though it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. He was nice. I enjoyed his company. He paid for everything, and so it was good. I'm not upset anymore. And I'm kind of beyond the point in my life where, yeah, for that first day I was real hard on myself, but after that I was like, you know what, stop this crap. You know, you don't have to be everybody's dream girl. You just have to be one person's dream girl. And I just haven't found that one person yet. And maybe I never will. But if not, then I'll deal with that. But so that's that. What else? I don't know. I guess that's it. So thank you all for watching, and I could really talk about a lot more things. I had a lot more things in my head to talk about, but I won't ramble on anymore. And hopefully the connection has been good throughout this whole video. And I hope you all are doing well. And I hope you're being blessed. And I hope you'll do all the YouTube-y things, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And until next time, take care.